gut is influenced by so much more than just food, and how circadian rhythm affects digestion and reconnecting with nature can really be like that missing piece in your healing journey.
You're listening to the What the Gut podcast, where busy moms can come for a holistic approach to health and vitality. I'm Allison, your host, a holistic health and wellness coach. In this space, we'll dive into the intricacies of achieving holistic wellness while balancing the demands of daily life as a busy mom. What the Gut is your haven for navigating the challenges that come with juggling numerous tasks while aiming for a healthier, more balanced life. Join me as we uncover practical solutions to common health hurdles, from managing fatigue to understanding all things gut health. Through insightful discussions, actionable insights, and tailored lifestyle strategies, my goal here is to empower you to embrace a vibrant, nourishing life while saying goodbye to being overwhelmed and exhausted. So if you're ready to embark on this transformative journey towards holistic well-being, hit that subscribe button. Get ready to discover the secrets to thriving in motherhood while nurturing your overall wellness. A quick reminder, everything discussed here is for educational and empowering purposes only and is not intended for personalized medical advice. Consult your personal healthcare provider for personalized medical advice. Welcome to What the Gut, where we create our own path to holistic health, one episode at a time.
Yeah. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Vanessa Baldwin to the show. Vanessa is a certified classical homeopath, quantum circadian clinician, and ancestral health practitioner who has helped countless people reclaim their health by addressing the real root cause of disease. After facing her own health crisis, one that left her in chronic pain and deep frustration, she discovered that true healing comes from aligning with nature, supporting our body's innate ability to heal, and using homeopathy as a powerful tool. Now she's on a mission to help others break free from the cycle of failed treatments and rediscover the wisdom of ancestral health, light exposure, and homeopathic medicine. Did I
Mhm.
say homeopathic
Homeopathic, homeopathy, you could say either one. You could say homeopathy, you could say
It's
homeopathics, either one
it's one of
works.
those words that it doesn't naturally flow off your tongue unless you say it all the time, probably. But welcome to the show, Vanessa. I'm really excited to have you here today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat with you too.
I am getting over some kind of like congestion stuff, so I'm still like nasally and
Me
all
too,
of
actually. I had the flu like 2 weeks ago, and it's like still a little bit of a lingering congestion that I have. My voice does not sound the same, so it's all good.
like literally everybody I've been talking to, it's like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of that going around for sure. That energy and frequency is definitely
Yes, that's what it is. Yes.
I have
Well,
to say, I'm a homeopath, which we can talk about. I took a remedy that literally, like, within a half hour shifted things, like, literally from the aches and the chills to
okay.
congestion,
Yeah.
just, like, completely subsiding. I was like, wow, that was amazing. That's the first time I
Okay.
really felt it, like, that effect in my body that quickly. It's like, wow,
Okay.
shit.
Yeah. So let's just jump right in then. I want to know what you did.
What?
So
For the flu?
for the flu. Yeah. I want to know.
I'll say one thing I did is I used a ton of red light therapy. So red light therapy is super
Yes.
great for the system. It's really great for calming down inflammation. It's helps with cellular hydration, helps with cellular energy. And this red light therapy torch is amazing. This is from Kelly Bento. What's called Solace. What's cool about it? I look really cool now, don't I? But you could literally stick it right up your nose or in your ear or in your throat. So this probe comes off, so you can put it like directly to the skin as well. I'm just going to turn it off.
Yeah.
I use a lot of that, and that did help, but the remedy that I went up taking was personal to me. So with
Yeah.
homeopathics, it's not, "Oh, this is the remedy for the flu," and you take the remedy
Right.
for the flu. There are definitely remedies that are more indicated for flu, but it's really how is that flu presenting and that unique individual person, and that's how we know the right remedy. So it's like I can't really say, "Oh, take this remedy if you have the flu." You have to have the symptoms. So for my symptoms, I always also look at the mental emotional. I was feeling super anxious and overwhelmed, like with life. So that's a good consideration. It was also really damp and wet in my environment. There was a lot of snow, a lot of rain. It was very cold. I was
Okay.
outside barefoot because I like to ground. And sometimes
Yes.
constitution that doesn't do well with damp and wet, it actually can aggravate things.
So
Um,
where do you live?
I
Where are
live
you from?
in Long Island, New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I'm in Mississippi, but I've got a friend
this was
in
that was really, we were just in Alabama last week, and it was the coldest week they've had in like the whole month, I think,
yeah,
literally,
it's
unfortunately.
it's been crazy weather here. It did not snow here where I am, but, like, I know in the northern parts of Mississippi it did, and a lot more snow than, like, we've seen in a while, so that's crazy, but yeah, so, like, doing your homeopathic remedy for the flu for you for anybody, like, it's a personalized approach.
It's
Yeah.
it's very individualized medicine. There is no remedy. If you look at a homeopathic on a store like shelf, it'd be like it says headaches or something, but the remedies can cover a vast variety of symptoms, right? Take it for you could take the same remedy for so many different ailments is the point. So
Yeah.
you can't really just like blanket statement remedies for people. You have to have a consultation, you have to meet with somebody, or you have to have the knowledge of homeopathy and be able to then self prescribe. So one or the
Yeah.
other.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I know today we're gonna dive into some fascinating topics, just how our gut is influenced by so much more than just food, and how circadian rhythm affects digestion, and reconnecting with nature can really be like that missing piece in your healing journey. And I'm curious, what got you into homeopathy? And I know that might be a loaded question. I love hearing people's stories though. I don't know. I love it. I love it.
I don't know how much time do we have? No, I'm only kidding. Okay. So my health journey is a long story, but that's how I got into all of this, right? Into using circadian biology, quantum biology, homeopathics is through my own health struggles, my own personal
Yeah.
health struggles. So actually I was had a lower level of health all my life. At 5 years old, I was struggling with reoccurring bladder infections, was put on long-term antibiotics for
Hey.
8 years. So you know what that did to my gut microbiome, how much that destroyed everything there. Really unfortunate, not the right way to go. Because what was the real root cause? Not an infection, right? What's causing my energy levels to be so low, my redox to be low? What was going on the mental emotional level, right? There's something there that was triggering those infections. And just taking antibiotics is just a band-aid. And of course, it didn't solve the issue. Literally, while I was on the antibiotics, it was okay. But then, of course, you can't live on antibiotics. And when I got off of them, of course, the bladder infections continued. And then basically my whole life, it was chronic, either in a bladder infection or a yeast infection. It was a seesaw of one or the other. And it was really horrible. I was either on an antibiotic or an antifungal. I was always at the gynecologist. I was always at the doctor, always getting the antibiotics. And I would call and get them easily because they're like, oh, yeah, you have another bladder infection. Okay, here, just don't, yeah, I didn't have to go in to get cultured.
Yeah.
So was I really having an infection all those times? Who knows, right?
Yeah.
I got older, my health declined further, but it was like not things that I really put together until now, like looking back. But I had
Right.
obesity, hormone imbalances, metabolic issues, lots of PMS and all those kinds of things. So because I was 60 pounds overweight, I was like, well, what am I going to do to fix my health? Right. I did what most people do. They go to diet and exercise. Right. So I joined Weight Watchers. I went to like extremely low fat diet, lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, never thinking about organic, never thinking about glyphosate, never thinking about the amount of oxalates I was consuming, like all of these things I know now. Right. And then I added in chronic exercise. So I was like, okay, now I'm going to calorie restrict. I'm not going to eat enough food to nourish my body for years. And then I was chronically exercising, overtraining, marathon training, and constantly injured and not putting the pieces together of why that was not good for my health. Literally, I was at PT all the time. I was like, oh, it's my plantar fasciitis. Oh, I've got a hip issue. Oh, I've got a knee issue. Oh, my shoulder hurts. I had 3 herniated discs in my neck that were what was going on. I wasn't putting this all together. My body was really depleted and I was doing it to myself in a lot of ways.
And, like, how young were you? You look young, so I'm like,
Oh, thank
to
you.
have all of these ailments, though, at such a young age, I'm like,
I'm 40. I'll say that. I don't mind saying it.
okay, I don't think that at 40 or younger, though, you should be having as many ailments as you're talking about.
No,
Like,
I'm telling you, I was literally living at my PT. He was an amazing guy. He really helped me, but I was like, I shouldn't be taking NSAIDs and living at the PT. But I was also undernourishing my body and overexerting it. And I was training for marathons, all these things. So then autoimmunity started to show up in my life. I actually developed alopecia areata. I got these like giant quarter size pieces of alopecia areata in my hair. So those were like bald spots and they were like all
yeah,
over. And I would go get the cortisone injections. And what would happen? They would grow back, but then it would come back in another area. So it wasn't actually solving the problem. I just was trying to keep covering it up. And every 3
All the
weeks.
steroids.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
I'm just putting
steroids.
yeah, just putting that in my body every 3 weeks, not even, like, thinking about the detriment of that would have on my hormones, my metabolism, my health in the future. And then I also developed another bladder infection. I was always developing. The bladder issue was still ongoing, and one time I developed one, and I took antibiotics, and it didn't work. And then all of a sudden, I had a diagnosis of interstitial cystitis, which is, okay, now it's a chronic inflammatory response of the bladder, and what's causing that? Yeah, and then going further, let's see, it's 2020, right? A lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of things going
Yes.
on. I live in New York. It was like one of the hubs, right?
Oh, man.
And they were like shutting down the schools. I was a school teacher. I was a special ed school teacher for 15 years. That was my past life. I love that job and I loved what I did, but it's not for me anymore. There's a lot of
Yeah.
reasons for
There
that.
was a season. There was a season for
There was a
that. Yeah.
season for that. And now this is not the season anymore. And at that time, I also wound up working virtually. So now I'm sitting in front of 3 blue lit monitors all day long, and I'm exposed to a lot of Wi-Fi, a lot of radiation throughout the day, which is not really how I taught when I taught previously. I was
Okay.
hands-on with the kids. I never sat in front of a screen all day. That's just
Yeah.
how I was as a teacher. But now this is how I was forced to be. And I developed Hashimoto's as well because I got really cold. There was other symptoms that were showing a lot of fatigue, and I was like, "Oh, now you have Hashimoto's also." So now I'm like, I'm really autoimmune. I really need to get the medical interventions that they were giving at this time because I thought I grew up extremely mainstream. I
Yeah.
didn't even know there was another alternative choice. I didn't even know that existed, that there were other ways to support your health. It wasn't even
Right.
a realm of reality, right? So I went and I did the thing that everybody was doing in 2020. And I noticed immediately that my breathing was off, but I brushed it off and thought it was coincidental. And
Yeah.
then I went and did it again 3 weeks later because that's what they tell you to do. After that, I had a complete health collapse, like a total mast cell activation syndrome, total cell danger response, total just all my symptoms were extremely heightened to the point where I had to leave my job. Like I chose to leave my job because I was like, I can't do this. I need to go figure out my health. Something's wrong. So the symptoms I had were depression. I was like crying. I was teaching kids about the phases of matter on Zoom and crying. And I was like, I'd go to my colleague and be like, I don't know why I'm crying. I don't know what's going on. Panic attacks. My mom had to come bring me Xanax. Like I was literally laying on the floor in panic attacks. I had joint pain literally all over my body, chronic diarrhea. Got another bladder infection that could not be helped out with antibiotics again. And I had chronic insomnia. I never had insomnia. I had like heart palpitations all night. Like just like my whole system was completely like everything was now a threat. Literally everything in my environment was a threat that no matter what it was. And it just was out of control. So I went to, of course, allopathic medicine and, I did that for about 6 months. And then I realized eventually that was getting me nowhere. I was literally extremely debilitated, could no longer take care of my family, could no longer I have 3 young kids,
Okay.
boys.
I'm
But,
just like,
my
hold on.
story's not, you want me to slow down?
No, for people watching this, you can see my response. But for those listening, I'm just sitting here flabbergasted. You were in your 30s. You have 3 kids. I'm in my 30s, have
Yeah.
3 kids. And everything you're saying, it's like the lifetime of 10 different people could have experienced all this. I'm just like, what? Just one thing after another. And I don't even know the end of the story yet, but I know you're here and you do homeopathy now. And I'm like, thank the Lord. So continue, please. It's just, I'm
Yeah.
just amazed. I'm like, this woman, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a journey for sure. And I believe everything happens for a reason. And I was meant to go down this path to get to where I am today. Like totally. I have no
Yes.
regrets in it at all in the choices that I've made. And you only know at the time, right? You only
Oh,
can with
yeah.
the information that you're given. I thought I was making the right choices for myself, my family, the world, everything, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I eventually realized that allopathic medicine wasn't going to help me. I left a lot of doctors' offices just feeling very ashamed, like a failure, like an outcast. They didn't believe me that it had anything to do with any of their medical interventions.
Just
Like,
defeated, it sounds.
so
Just,
defeated. It was incredible.
yeah.
It's a functional medicine. And honestly, unfortunately, Allison, it wasn't any better. And that's because my body was still stuck in the cell danger response. So throwing
Yeah.
a bunch of supplements and protocols at me was not going to help. It didn't matter what you gave me. It wasn't calming any of the inflammation. The fear and my nervous system all needed to be recalibrated. And
Yeah.
And so supplements didn't help. And in fact, all the testing did was make me feel more fearful and anxious. I was like, oh my God, I have mold. Oh my God, I have H. pylori. Oh my God, I'm sensitive to every food. What do I eat? Like, all it did was drive the anxiety in my body and make me feel
Yeah.
worse. And I know that testing has its place and its value, but for in that moment, that wasn't what I needed. And
I
supplement, not what I needed either. I needed to put less inputs into my body. In fact, the more things I put into my body and tried to feed it, the worse I felt, really. Yeah.
I wanna stop for a second because I just love this so far. I'm like, "Okay, have you written a book yet? Because you need to." Like,
Oh,
this is amazing. But there are so many people out there, though, who have experienced so many of the things that you have as well, and they might find functional medicine
mhm.
and not see a lot of results at first. And I love though that a lot of times people will come on the podcast or even myself will find functional medicine and it's like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. But for some people, it's not initially. And I think whenever like your story is such a testament to that because when your body is so overloaded with all of this
Yes.
like chronic stress, disease, like just screaming for help, basically, like it doesn't even know how to accept that help from other supplements or process, like, what do my labs mean? And, like, the labs, you said, like, they are so valuable. But if you're already in this, like, high state of, like, chronic stress, anxiety, just all these things you mentioned, like, you're not like, it's so hard to get out of that. Your body it's so used to being in this fight or flight state. And I think taking a holistic approach and focusing on not just which functional medicine, it's not just supplements and labs, but a lot of times we start with that. A lot of times that's a tool that is used more in functional medicine than traditional medicine, of course. But there's so many other aspects to a holistic approach. And that's where like homeopathy and stuff comes in. And
I
so,
think it depends on who you see too, right? And the
yes.
different practitioners that you see. And I also think it
Yes.
depends on like the level. I had like no faith and no trust after that in any of the practitioners that
Oh,
I was
yeah.
seeing. And I was also like, a lot of them like left me, like they would work with me and then they'd like, oh, you have an injury from a medical intervention. I can help you. Oh, you're just going to have to take these antihistamines. Like a naturopath was like, you're just going to have to take the meds for the rest of your life. And I was like, I don't resonate with that. And if you're not holding the hope for me and that possibility for me, then you were not right for me. And I didn't realize that now. I didn't realize that then, but I do now that they weren't
Yeah.
for me because it needs to be more holistic. And I don't think we should be starting with supplements. I think we should be
Right.
starting with what actually helped me. And that's because it's what helped me. Maybe that's why I feel that way. But the foundation needs to be set. And that's our circadian biology. That's our connection with nature. That's getting our day and night cycles organized, like that, all of that, like
Mhm.
building your redox, building your body's energetic battery back up, building up your charge again before you start adding supplements. Cause I can tolerate supplements
Yeah.
now and they can be effective for me and supportive for me. But until your body is more regulated and able to accept, like you said, it might just be like you're just paying them out and wasting money. That's basically what.
And I love though that you are here to share your story and all of this, like in this manner, because I've had clients before who we do use a lot of supplements, but along with supplements as a tool, I emphasize so much like just the foundations of health, like relationships, nutrition, sleep habits, movement, just stress, how you handle your stress. And if those foundations are not being proactively worked on, the supplements aren't gonna do anything. But yes, and I think though that so many people it's like we can easily do what our doctor says. Like people go to the doctor and they're told take a pill. They can do that religiously. And
Yeah.
so going and taking a supplement and thinking, "Oh, functional medicine, that's all it's about maybe, just taking supplements instead." And then they do that and they don't see results. That's not what it's all about. Like it just like a prescription medicine, like a supplement is also a tool along with grounding and red light therapy. These are all tools that you can use, but you can't just do one thing.
No, and there's no quick fix. Not supplements or nothing. The red light therapy is not the quick fix either. You
Right.
actually have to change your lifestyle. You actually have to work on your relationships. You actually have to work on regulating your nervous system. And even homeopathy, I will say to clients, it's not a panacea. It's going
Right.
to move you in the direction that you're ready to go. It's going to support you. It's going to help your body. It's another tool in the toolbox, like you said, but nothing's a panacea. The real truth is you have to change your life. If you what you're doing, obviously the way I was living was not working for me. Right. So
Right.
this is why I had to make changes in my lifestyle in order to heal. And that's
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So what was it for you? Like you found functional medicine, thought maybe I'll give this a try. It didn't really work for you at first. So then what did end up working for you? And what was that light bulb moment? How did you get into the homeopathy aspect? What was that like?
so homeopathy wasn't the first thing that worked for me. The first thing that really helped me was I was following a doctor who was talking about watching the sunrise. And I was like, why not? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, that's a free thing. I can do the sunrise. I can do it. And she was emphasizing like getting a lot of sunlight. Like, you need a lot of sunlight. And now that makes sense to me of why I need a lot of sunlight. But I was like, okay, I'll try it. So I was like, okay. So it was like a fall time in my area. So it's a little chilly. So I would go outside with my blankies and I would sit outside on my grass and sit in the sun, watch the sunrise, and just hang out there. Like, literally just sit, be still, be in nature, watch nature. I'm orienting to my environment. I'm watching, listening to the birds. I'm getting all
Being
of those
present.
present, yes, activating the parasympathetic, being more calm, being more still, and just being. Of course, my mind would wander, right? It wasn't like I
Yeah.
was able to turn off the monkey mind yet.
Well,
But
you have 3 kids and
and I had chronic illness and I was trying to figure it out, right?
yeah.
Yeah, like I would just sit and be still. And that was the first thing that moved the needle for me, is spending that chunk of time from sunrise. I was out in UVA rise as well. Just spending that time in those light frequencies, bathing in those frequencies, bathing in nature, getting all the electrons there, recalibrating my nervous system, being innate. And I say nature is the parasympathetic all the time. So just being in that environment for that time, that was the first thing that helped me. I noticed I had literally the most debilitating chronic insomnia you can ever imagine. I don't think I slept for somewhere around 6 to 8 months. I didn't sleep. I barely slept. That was the first thing that helped that move. When my sleep started shifting, just being outside in the sun all that more, my sleep started shifting at night. And then, of course, that helped mood, that helped energy. Like, of course, that all helped. It helped my pain improve as well. And then I also started wearing blue blockers because I learned about blocking artificial light at night. So I started wearing orange. I actually got red. My first blue blockers were red. And I was like, they're so dark. I blocked. But that was better for me because I really needed to tone everything down. So blocking out the blue and the green light was what I needed.
Yeah.
And that helped immensely as well. So that was where I first started. And then I wanted to learn everything you could about circadian biology. I dived into every podcast there was on the topic. I'm definitely a learner at heart, a teacher. I've always been a learner. So
Yeah.
that's just in my soul and in my passion. So yeah, I was diving into all that and just kept implementing more and more things, learning how to use sunlight as a healing modality, learning how to get in nature more, learning about earthing, learning about hardwiring devices, mitigating non-native EMFs and how this affects our health, learning about how to really keep my light environment in check, learning how to hydrate on a cellular level, learning how to really tend to my mitochondria really is where it comes down to, and really healing at a cellular level. So I've been learning all that. And then I was like, there was a time in my health journey where had been making improvements. So I was like, okay, I'm like 60% better. But then I also was like, I want to accelerate my healing. What other modalities can I do? And at that time, I had what only I can describe as like a yeast infection in the bladder, which sounds like it's the most awful thing you can think of because it really is.
Yeah.
The bladder literally feels itchy. Who can you imagine? Like, it's so
Yeah.
horrible. So I was like, I had heard about homeopathy, and the homeopath that I had been following was also really into all the circadian biology practices and principles. And I had been learning from her, and I was like, let's try homeopathy. So I met with her. I sat with her for 2 hours. She asked me all these like really strange questions that at that time made no sense to me. I'm like, I don't know why she's asking me this. It's nothing to do with my bladder, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not, homeopathy doesn't just address the physical, it addresses the mental, emotional, and the spiritual. So it asks about all these other questions, and it all connects to the homeopath. But to the person who's sitting on the other side, you might be like, huh? Why she prescribes me a remedy, and I have what's known as what we call in homeopathy an aggravation of symptoms, or a activation of the immune system is another way I like to call it. And that's like where you get a little bit worse before you get better. And so I had this migraine, and I had a couple like other things where I had this intense aggravation of my itchy bladder for a few days. It was actually a really horrible night. But then after that, it went away. And I was like, This is like magic. How'd that happen? And my body, the reason why it went away is because my body did the healing work. Like the
Yeah.
aggravation is the healing. The body is, that's how the body's act. So the homeopathic is the stimulus, right? It stimulates the body to heal. And the body's, oh, wake up, time to do the self healing that you have been slacking on. Take care of this. And then my body did the healing work through that aggravation. And on the other side, I had an amelioration where I felt better. And then I've been using homeopathy since then and actually became a homeopath and got certified in quantum biology as well and ancestral nutrition, all the things. Because
Yeah.
I got to tell everybody about this. Because if I would have
Right.
taken homeopathics when I was 5 for my bladder infection, I might have never even had a lot of the health issues that I've had my whole life. Because it's like we need that awareness that there's other things that can help us. We don't have to jump right to allopathic. When we have
Yeah.
people think, oh, you have an infection. Oh, you have bacteria. Like you have to, like, you are bacteria.
I know, like, just talking about, like, the gut bacteria, like, we have bacteria in our gut, good and bad, but it's the balance we need, and some people are like, "Oh my goodness, I've got bad bacteria, I need to get rid of all that." I'm like, "Then you're gonna get rid of all the good too," and that's not but if you had not experienced everything that you had, though, in your life, you wouldn't be here to share this story and even appreciate homeopathy at its best, which is awesome, and I love too, though, that your children have been able to see you through that.
They've been able to see me through that, and it's been, I won't lie, it was hard for them to go through. I've snored the most in my oldest because he was old enough. He was like, what? I was 8 or 9. He was like 9. It was hard to see the change because I literally wasn't a mom for like
Yeah.
months. I literally was not a mom. It could not work. I would sit on my kitchen floor and be like, I gotta go to the food store, but I was like too depressed and exhausted and emotional to even get up to go to the food store to make dinner
Yeah.
for my kids. Like it was that bad. So
Yeah.
they like lost their mom. So that's a huge grief for them. But then they've also experienced and saw this and saw that all the changes that I've made and how it's impacted me and how I've reclaimed my health. And they get to see homeopathy and how we use it. And they get to experience homeopathy. And the shifts that they've seen have been incredible. Honestly, what I've been able to help them with has been it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, like, through my own healing journey too, I'm like, there definitely was a point where I felt like, okay, if I don't do something, I'm not going to be able to be there for my kids, like mentally. Like, I'm like physically here, but like I just am present, like not present mentally. The sooner that you can take control of your health and then be there for them, it's just you can serve other people so much more when you can take care of yourself first.
And yeah, you cannot pour from an empty cup. That's for sure.
No. Now, I was going to ask you something else and it completely slipped my mind. I just love this conversation. I'm so interested in like the whole sunlight thing. And it's just that's one free thing that anybody can do. And I always emphasize that to my clients too, and really try to do that for myself. I'm like at least 10 to 15 minutes a day, preferably in the morning, like getting that early morning sunlight. I'm like, go on a walk at the same time. That way you're like knocking out a few things. So you're
Oh,
multitasking.
definitely.
I'm a
Yeah.
multitasker and I try to slow down though, but I'm like, this is one I can get away with and not feel guilty about trying to do too much at once. But it's crazy though, because of the balance of like your melatonin and cortisol and how that sunlight works and just the healing power of it. Now, I know you've got your red light right there. So red light
Oh, this is
therapy
actually not a red light. I wish this
as a
was a
heater.
no, it's actually my mic and it just happens to be red.
Is it? Oh, look, that's awesome. That's awesome. I was going to ask you about your red light though, because red light therapy, I know there's so many different like companies out there. What is your best or favorite place to get your red light?
I do love Soleil, the one that I showed you before. That's a great
Okay.
company. I don't have her panels, but I have her torch. That's an awesome one to use.
Yeah.
My husband has a probe, so I love that one. I have Midwest Red Light Therapy and EMR Tech as other ones as well. And red light, honestly, we are so red light deficient. And this is
Yeah.
because the reason why is because of modern living. Okay. And
Yeah.
that's the reason why we're so red light deficient. And red light frequencies from the sun, the red and the infrared, are the most predominant sun frequencies from the sunlight. So it's about 50% of the sunlight is red, right? It's not just at sunrise and sunset, it's there all day. So as soon as the sun comes out, so when the sun leaves the environment, it's going to have 50% red light therapy, literally free all day long, right? So there's devices are great because they can be support when you like, because of it's a modern device for a modern living, basically. But you can get free red light therapy from the sun all day long. So that is my
Yes.
favorite red light therapy device. And the amount of things that red light does is incredible. So like I said, it's 50% of the sunlight is it, and it's there all day long. It's the most predominant. That's why it's the most important one for us to get, right?
Yeah.
That's like nature telling us, like we need those light frequencies. Now, the reason why we're so red light deficient is because we're sitting inside
Yeah.
and our modern glass blocks the
Blocks it.
infrared.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it blocks the UV. So a little simple strategy is to crack a window, which I always do. And then I also I have incandescent bulbs over there in my living room. So they're going to have some infrared. Most modern light bulbs don't have infrared. If you buy a standard white LED or just your fluorescents, they're not going to have infrared. But incandescents and halogens do. So you're adding a little bit of infrared back in your environment, or you could use a red light therapy device to put some infrared back into your environment. You want to be exposed to infrared literally most of the day. That's
Yeah.
how we should be living. And what it does to first supports our mitochondria, it supports our cellular hydration, it actually expands our exclusion zone water, which is a topic we can get into if you want. And basically what it's doing is it's helping our body make subcellular melatonin, which is different than the pineal gland melatonin that you would get from when you sleep to help you sleep at
Mm.
night, which you make from UVA sunlight. It has this pathway from UVA sunlight to serotonin, which becomes melatonin later on at night when we experience darkness. Then it'll be released in the pineal gland. But red light actually helps us make subcellular melatonin, which is melatonin that the cells are making and that is literally helping you repair your cells all day long. That's why we're meant to be with it all day long, to have that cellular repair.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here feeling so convicted. I'm like, I'm at a computer screen a lot and I've got my ring light and I do have a happy light. So it gives me some kind of natural light. And I've got a window right here, but I'm like, I just need to do my podcast outside now.
Seriously, when it's warm enough, I do my podcasting outside. I run my own podcast as well, and I do a lot of it outside. I always open a window. My screen, actually, I use iris because blue light, I don't know if you want to get into this, but blue light is super dehydrating to our cells. And
Yeah.
blue light, what it is, it's the lack of the red, right? When you have blue light from the sun, it always is balanced with red. So if you think of blue as the inflammatory and red as the anti-inflammatory, sunlight gets it right because it always has them together. But we created blue lit screens, artificial LEDs that unfortunately don't have that. They're lacking that infrared. So we are constantly being dehydrated on a cellular level just by being exposed to artificial blue light. And then Wi-Fi, which is Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, is all actually, and this is not to fear anybody, it's just to inform.
Right.
All of these things actually are light that you cannot see, and they activate the sympathetic nervous system, but they also do the same thing. They actually cause our cells to be dehydrated. So we are also chronically dehydrated just because we live these indoor environments. So there are things you can do. Like I use Iris software on my computer. My screen is completely red. I've hardwired my devices, and actually hardwiring my devices and removing non-native EMFs from my home helped my symptomology so much, because when you are constantly have a dehydration on a cellular level, it actually activates the cell danger response and that sends out a histamine response. So that actually is a big correlation between non-native EMFs and like histamine and mast cell activation syndromes. So
Hmm.
it really helps me a lot. So I turn off the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth off my computer. There are a lot of strategies that you can do to still be inside and work or just live in the modern world, but just make it more efficient. If you could be grounding while you're podcasting and in sunlight, yeah, you got it.
Yes, yes. I love all of those things. And I know even just you think about people with like sleep number beds
Oh yeah.
and sleep with their cell phone right there on their nightstand,
Yeah.
just all the energy frequencies of all of
If
that. It
we
just
can tone down at least the sleep environment, then at least like 50% of your day is better.
yeah.
So I tell clients, can you put your phone on airplane mode? Can you put it in another
Yeah.
room? Can you put it downstairs? Like all those things. If you can unplug things in your room, and you want your room to be like as dark as possible, like you only want to
Yes.
be able to see the hand in front of your face, because sleeping is when we repair and we don't
Yeah.
want anything interfering with that. You can also get a kill
Right.
switch, turn your Wi-Fi off at night. That's another great strategy. Yeah.
Yes. I love all of that. Now, I know that you mentioned like just going outside, like that's a huge tool here that we can use. But what are some other, if somebody's really wanting to step into homeopathy and more natural approach, what are some other tips that you have that are maybe simple if somebody's listening and feels very overwhelmed? Like obviously going outside is the first thing, But what are some other like easy things?
Yeah, like we'll take 3 walks outside a day. If you could take a sunrise walk, a midday walk, and a sunset walk, like if that's possible for you, that would be great, right? Because you're getting
Yeah.
those light frequencies in your eyes. It's gonna set the circadian rhythm. Can you get out at sunrise? Blue blockers are a simple tip. Anybody can get a pair of blue blockers. You want a colored tone blue blocker. Orange or red is really preferable. And you could use those. Yellow is, I say yellow for the day, right? If you're on a screen, and then you could wear orange or red when the sun sets or before sunrise. You don't want to walk around with red. They can be dark. You can't really see good, right? So
Yeah.
those are I can because my eyes are really adapted to dark, but some people I don't want anybody to get hurt. Blue blockers are like a simple fix, right? Because if you can honor the day and night cycles and match that to nature as much as humanly possible, that's really going to help calm down the sympathetic, get you more into parasympathetic. It's going to help balance your hormones, your master hormones like cortisol, melatonin, and leptin. And you're going to be, making good headway. So that's a simple strategy. Can you get into nature, like with bare feet at all during the day? Is that
Yeah.
possible? Even when you walk and it's cold, can you touch a tree? You can touch a plant. All of that works. Swimming in natural waters, like all of that's really helpful. Meal timing is huge. You can also think about meal timing, like we talk about gut health, right? Meal
Mhm.
timing really matters. We are meant to digest and absorb nutrients during the day, and nighttime is for repair. And I always use
Yeah.
the example, if you're eating really late at night, okay, can your body clean up the mess? Can it run the dishwasher? Because it can't do the repair work if it's still doing that digestion work. A really good example is think of a janitor going in to clean the classroom. Can he clean the classroom if the kids are still there making a mess? No, right? You got to let the body like do its digestion work during the day so it can repair at night. So meal timing is helpful. Our body, light is the number one timekeeper in the body. So it helps recalibrate the circadian rhythms, but meal timing is a secondary timekeeper. So
Yeah.
getting like syncing up your light environment in the morning, sunrise to breakfast as well, like eating something, right, in the morning as well. Of course, a nutrient dense, like ancestral seasonal diet is really big. I'm really big on that. It's the diet we ate before chronic disease existed, right?
Yeah.
Like it's before supermarkets existed. Like we have all these modern conveniences now and we think we can just eat whatever we want whenever we want. But the truth of it is that that's new. Just like light bulbs are new, Wi-Fi is new, Bluetooth is new, supermarkets are new. And we have ate, literally our ancestors just ate what was local and seasonal to their environment for millennia. So that's really, I don't know if that's easy, but if you could connect with a local farmer, if you could start growing some of your own foods, if you could focus on more regenerative practices and go to farmers markets, see what's available, just start incorporating some of that into your life. I think it's
Yeah,
helpful.
I love that. I think those are great tips. And Vanessa, I know that you have your own podcast. I'll be sure to link that in the show notes, the Quantum Health Connection. And you offer a bunch of different courses and also have a free homeopathy at home guide. So
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
sure to link all of that for listeners and your Instagram so people can go follow you and check that out. Is there anything else that you want to leave our listeners with today?
Man, so many things. Okay. I would say that you can totally get back on track with your health. Don't ever let anybody tell you what's possible for you, right? That healing is always possible, that your body is a self-healing machine. Don't let anybody stop that possibility, right? Don't let anybody stand in that way. You are always capable your body's always capable of healing. It just needs the right inputs to heal, right? It needs nature. It needs good relationships. It needs a balanced nervous system, right? It needs the correct inputs. So if you can just get your body the right inputs, it can heal and it's a self-healing machine. And that there's always a possibility. Always hold that hope of possibility of what could be. And yeah, I also want parents to know that homeopathy is a very safe and effective modality that they can use. I also offer quite a bit of homeopathy courses. So I have my free guide, which is great. Go grab it. You can learn like how to use some basic remedies there, like the most common ones. But I also have courses on homeopathy. So if your child has an ear infection, if you know how to treat that at home, then you can avoid those antibiotics that are going to cause harm to our system, unfortunately, right? So I have courses I have one for childhood ailments. That's a great one, but ear infections, UTIs, the flu, which is a great one, which has been rampant, which we were talking about. I have one on cell salts and one on like first aid care. So if you can go and get courses like that, it doesn't have to be for me, but in general, like if you learn how to be the homeopath of your family, then you can avoid those medications and the thing is, when we use homeopathy, we actually make our body stronger instead of weaker. So that would be my recommendation there too. Mm.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you so much for this today, Vanessa. This has been so
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you. It was really fun.
Thank you for being a part of my journey on What the Gut podcast. For a deeper dive into today's topics, head over to allisonandwellness.com/whatthegut or find the detailed show notes linked below. Hey, and don't miss out on future episodes. Hit that subscribe button, and if you love this one, please leave me a review. Let's keep the conversation going over on Instagram. Connect with me and stay updated and engaged with my awesome community. Plus, share these valuable insights with your tribe. They deserve to feel as amazing as you do. You can find me at Allison_and_wellness on Instagram. Your support means the world to me. I'm looking forward to our next awesome chat. But until then, stay curious, don't drink too much coffee, keep the vibrant energy flowing, and take care of your gut. Catch you real soon. Oh, and hey, if you're ready to dive deeper into personalized wellness, check out my one-on-one health coaching program at allisonandwellness.com. Let's make your journey to holistic health truly transformative.
Hey there, it's Allison. And if you're anything like me, coffee is a non-negotiable part of your day. But did you know that most coffee is loaded with mold, toxins, and pesticides that could be messing up your gut and hormones? Yeah, no thanks. That's why I only drink Purity coffee. It's organic, tested for toxins, and it's packed with antioxidants that actually support your health instead of wrecking it. It's smooth, delicious, and best of all, it does not leave me feeling jittery or bloated. So if you're ready to upgrade your coffee game and support your gut at the same time, grab a bag of Purity coffee today. Your body will thank you. Oh, and because you are part of the What the Gut family, I've got a special link just for you. Just head to puritycoffee.com and use code AllisonGetsWell for 20% off your first order. Cheers to coffee that loves you back. Hey friend, let's talk about something real. Bloating, stomach pain, and fatigue. You do not have to live like this. I know because I was there too. I was frustrated, exhausted, and trying everything, but still felt miserable. And that's exactly why I created my Get Well one-on-one gut health coaching program to help women like you finally get to the root cause of your symptoms, heal your gut, and feel like yourself again. No more guessing, no more Band-Aid fixes, just real, sustainable solutions tailored to your body. So if you're ready to ditch the bloating, boost your energy, and actually enjoy food without discomfort, let's do this together. Head to AllisonGetsWell.com or reach out to me on Instagram at AllisonGetsWell to learn more and apply today. Because you deserve to feel good in your body every single day.